A man gets off a helicopter, 4,000 feet above the Indonesian jungle, and he never lands again. His body is found 4 days later, his face gone, his identity confirmed only by a rotting shoe. He was the only living person who knew the truth about the richest gold mine in the world, a mine that made a company worth $6 billion, a mine that didn't exist. Calgary, 1993. A small mining company called Bre-X Minerals is nearly worthless. Its shares trade for pennies. Its founder, David Walsh, has already gone bankrupt once before. He's not a geologist. He's not an engineer. He's a stock promoter with a phone and a dream in hand, and a hunch about a piece of jungle in Borneo called Busang. He hires a Filipino geologist named Michael de Guzman to run the site. De Guzman is charismatic, experienced, and there's a fact almost no one knows. He's already walked away from 2 mining fraud accusations before. Walsh doesn't check. He just needs a story the market will believe. The first drilling results come back modest, then better, then impossible. Every single core sample taken from Busang shows gold. Not once, not occasionally, every single time. Real gold deposits are inconsistent. They come, they go. This one isn't. And that consistency should have scared everyone. Instead, it made them rich. By 1996, Bre-X shares had risen from 30 cents to $280. Pension funds are buying in. Ordinary investors are mortgaging their homes to buy more. But the part almost nobody caught in time is this. The gold wasn't in the ground. It was in the lab. The technique is old, almost embarrassingly simple, and it's called salting, meaning adding gold to the sample. Workers would take gold dust, some of it later traced back to a nearby jeweler, and mix it into the crushed rock samples before they were tested. Add gold to the sample, and the lab reports that there's gold in the ground. No one needs to forge a document. The rock lies in your place. And because de Guzman controlled the entire chain, who drilled, who crushed it, how the samples were shipped, no outside lab ever saw raw, untouched rock. Every independent check being carried out was checking gold that had already been planted beforehand. Bre-X didn't need to fake a company. It needed to fake a mountain. And for 3 years, it had worked. Major banks published glowing reports. Barrick Gold and Freeport-McMoRan, the 2 largest mining companies in the world, openly fought over the right to partner with Bre-X. The Indonesian government got involved. It was even claimed that President Suharto's family was chasing a stake. No one wanted to be the one to ask the obvious question. Why does every single sample come back perfect? In early 1997, Freeport-McMoRan, brought in as a partner, does something no one at Bre-X expected. They drill their own samples, independently, under their own controls, with their own chain of custody. Not less gold, not disappointing gold, zero, nothing. A geological void. The mine that made a company worth $6 billion hadn't produced a single ounce under an honest test. Within days, Bre-X's man in charge in Indonesia, Michael de Guzman, is called back to the site to explain the discrepancy. He boards a helicopter. He never lands again. He falls from 4,000 feet, or jumps, or is pushed, depending on who you ask. If it really is his, the suicide note apologizes for causing trouble. His body is in a nearly unidentifiable state, and for almost 30 years, rumors have persisted that the man in that jungle wasn't actually him, that de Guzman staged his own death and vanished with a fortune, while the body in the grave belonged to someone else. No one has ever been able to prove or disprove this. Trading is halted. Then it resumes, and the stock doesn't fall, it evaporates. From nearly $7 billion in market value to zero within a few weeks. Pension funds in Ontario alone suffer losses of over $100 million. Individual investors, teachers, retirees, small business owners who believed the story and put in their money, lose everything. And there's no dramatic bailout package waiting for them. David Walsh, the man who started it all, dies of a brain aneurysm in the Bahamas the following year, without ever facing a single charge. He always claimed that he, too, was a victim, that he never knew the samples were backed with gold. No one was ever convicted over what happened at Busang. No one went to prison for engineering history's biggest mining fraud. The reason Bre-X collapsed wasn't that the fraud was clever. The reason it worked was that everyone involved, the banks, the governments, the journalists, the analysts, wanted it to be true. A poor company finding the world's richest gold deposit was too good a story to question. Due diligence existed. Independent testing methods existed. They just arrived 3 years and $6 billion too late. Today, the Bre-X standard is taught in mining and finance courses as the reason independent chain of custody testing exists. The industry rewrote its own rules because of a mountain that was never rich. One made to look that way only through rocks planted one by one. Somewhere in Borneo, the Busang site was eventually abandoned. No gold was ever found there. Neither the impossible fortune Bre-X promised, nor a modest deposit that might genuinely have existed. Just empty pits remained, and a story in which everyone lost everything. The mine was never real. The money that disappeared was real. If you had been an investor in 1996, watching the stock rise every week, would you have asked why it never fell? Where do you think the line is? Say it in the comments. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not investment advice.